By my calculations, this video should be uploaded to YouTube on August 19th, 2025, which is a very important date for the Montreal Canadiens and for this hockey player, Patrik Laine, because 1 year ago, on August 19th, 2024, 18th, we are 1 day ahead, I think. Yes, that is exactly what it is. 1 year ago and 1 day ago, the Montreal Canadiens acquired Patrik Laine and a 2026 second-round pick in exchange for Jordan Harris. Actually, no. The website says August 19th. Okay, so elite prospects, either y'all are a day off or somebody's lying over here. However, the reason we are talking about Patrik Laine today is because of a very, very interesting interview that he did in Finland. Don't get me wrong. As it is the 1 year anniversary of the Laine trade to Montreal, we could go out there and do the entire 1 year later thing. Oh, Laine and the draft pick and Jordan Harris, etc., etc. But I wanted to focus on this. An article published on Helsingin Sanomat that talks about Patrik Laine and just how well he is settled into Montreal. This interview will be linked in the description. It is a very good article. Do yourself a favor and read it. It came out a few days ago on August 16th, and it was published by Ville Toru. Let's go out there and read, because I think a lot of these quotes are going to resonate with a lot of people, and they provide some very good insight into Patrik Laine's overall mentality. The article's in Finnish. I had to translate it to English via the Google machine. Originally, it looked like this, but Finland's most talked about NHL star, Patrik Laine, 27 years old, has been very rarely available to the domestic media in recent years. On Saturday, however, Laine was giving interviews in a good mood after a long time. He had arrived at the familiar landscape of Nokia River Golf, where, after a gap year, he and Alexander Barkov held a joint charity event. It's been a busy summer. There have been weddings and other things, but fortunately, they probably don't happen every summer, Laine said. Or I assume that it won't happen again, he added with a laugh. Laine arrived in Finland only a week ago. He has spent the summer in his current hometown of Montreal, mostly training. I've been able to train well and, above all, be healthy for the first time in a long time. It's been a big thing now that I haven't had to struggle with minor injuries or other challenges. And that is absolutely the case, man. Take a look at Patrik Laine and his game log. I mean, the guy has played, spanning back the past few years, 52 games in the most recent season, 18 games the year before that, followed up by 55, 56, and 46 games the seasons before that. Sure, there were some shortened years in there, but ultimately Patrik Laine hasn't been an 82-game player since the late 2010s. He has not been healthy, and this extends into both Columbus and Montreal. He had the really bad knee-on-knee hit with Cedric Paré in the preseason last year, of course. Knock on wood, nothing like that happens again. But now, Laine is going out there and talking about, it's been the first time in a long time that I haven't had to struggle with injuries during my training. So hopefully that will allow him to get back into his late 2010s form. Laine has been training at his Club Canadiens facilities along with a few other Montreal Canadiens players. Unlike in previous years, there's also been plenty of on-ice training. Laine says here, since the beginning of July, I've been on the ice almost every day. Definitely more than normal. Otherwise, the summer has been a completely different place in terms of training than in recent years, when, among other things, challenges with mental health took away Laine's enthusiasm for training. The NHL star's revelation about the amount of training he has done in recent years is downright shocking. Last summer, I probably trained for 3 weeks before the season. Last summer, I had shoulder surgery and was out for maybe a month and a half. Now, I've been able to fully train since May. It's a slightly different starting point for the season, as you don't have to start while recovering. That, of course, is going to have a significant impact on the readiness of Patrik Laine's body and his mindset heading into the 25-26 campaign, as a lot of Canadiens fans are already super excited, seeing Laine always going out onto the ice in Brassard, the comment that he made in the Canadiens documentary, how he wants to make people that bet against him lose their money, and now he's gone out there and given us the timeline, fully training since May. Whereas last summer, he only really trained for 3 weeks because he had shoulder surgery. Night and day difference, and hopefully we see a night and day difference on the ice as well as a result. It's a slightly different starting point for the season, as you don't have to start while recovering. That's a really important quote there. This is where we dive into some of the other thoughts on Laine. I mean, this is a really big article, so you could go out there and read a lot of it yourself. But I think once you start getting into the, let's just say, training and mentality part, this is where it really gets interesting. So let's take a look at this here. Last season, there were a few difficulties at times, but considering the starting points, it could have gone worse. The shots just weren't enough, and I hadn't trained properly for a couple of years. The shots ran out. I should be able to cope now. There are no question marks about my fitness and readiness. If only I could score a few goals at 5-on-5, Laine smiles, referring to his only 3-goal tally in 5v5 last season. If Laine ends up getting a lot more production 5v5, then that would be the cherry on top, right? I think a lot of folks already believe in his power play production, so what's left to do is to start scoring where the game plays most of its time, right? Now, we're going to do some skipping around here because this article is really, really long. There's a lot to dive into, but ultimately, it'll be in the description if you want to read more of this yourself. There is a lot of Laine's perspective spoken about here. Laine talks about trade rumors, he talks about potentially choosing where he's able to go on his next contract, whether that is in Montreal, he wants to stay with the Habs, or if he ends up signing elsewhere in free agency. But then if you scroll down and get past the stuff about him being in Finland, this is where Laine talks about his mental health problems, which drove him into deep waters a couple of years ago. This is, I think, the most important part of the article. At that time, Laine's career as a hockey player was close to ending. I told the GM and agents a few times that I was quitting. I just couldn't do it anymore. It's good that it's gotten to this point. Now I'm enjoying life and hockey again after a long time. It's nice to be able to push myself. A lot of work has been done. Now that Laine has come back to the bright side, he wants to help others. Last year, Laine and his wife founded the From Us to You project to promote mental health, which they promote on social media, for example. The proceeds from Saturday's charity event will also be directed to the Tampere Children's Clinic Support Association, which supports the mental health of children and young people. Mental health is important. No one in this life escapes difficulties. However, they are rarely talked about. I've had my own problems too. I've thought about bringing them out into the open and trying to show that they're common in our circles, even though we're athletes and we're held on a bit of a pedestal, but we struggle with the same problems as everyone else. Now, guys, this is not the time to be insensitive here. Patrik Laine did have some very difficult moments throughout the course of his career, especially in Columbus. We saw him end up going to the NHL's Players Assistance Program to end off the season before he got sent over to Montreal. But to hear here that the guy was already telling folks, he was telling agents and GMs that he wanted to quit, that he was having none of it with the NHL anymore, he didn't want to be a part of this league. To see him ultimately bounce back and get into this mindset where now he's in Montreal, he's enjoying hockey, he is enjoying life, he's practicing as much as he's ever been in the past, and he's excited to start scoring some more 5-on-5 goals. This is where the Patrik Laine hype reaches brand new heights. And a year after the guy got sent over to Montreal, we're still here talking about what this guy's capable of bringing to the team, and just what kind of an impact he'll have. So if you want to go out there and read the rest of the article, because there is more of a conversation on contracts and how he feels after he has bad games and how he likes cars and stuff like that. There's a lot of Patrik Laine content in this piece. It'll be linked in the description. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. How do you feel about Laine's comments? How he almost ended up quitting hockey before everything turned around. Now he's in a good place, and hopefully it continues that way over the next year and a bit. But for now, thoughts in the comment section below about Patrik Laine. I hope you enjoyed this Finnish 99, and bye.